Right now at 6, a Fountain City man accused of hiding a corpse is back in court. And this year's Rebuilding for the Learning Summit is prioritizing youth mental health.
We're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now at 6.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us for News 8 Now at 6. I'm Ken Kozarowski. Emily is off. The defense has rested in the Adam Fravel trial. The move came after Fravel chose not to testify. Meanwhile, 5 defense witnesses took the stand today in Mankato. A Houston County investigator said that he searched the road where Madeline Kingsbury's body was found, but didn't see anything unusual. Fravel's brother testified that the couple appeared happy despite their problems. Closing arguments are set to start on Wednesday. A Fountain City man accused of hiding a corpse and animal abuse was in court today. Arthur McMullen was seeking a public defender, but a judge denied his request. McMullen was arrested last month when deputies tried to serve an eviction notice to his wife. They found her dead body and 71 cats and dogs. She had reportedly been dead for 6 weeks. Autopsy results are still pending.
Well, it certainly felt more like the 1st of November here today with the temperatures back to where we should be, just maybe a couple degrees below average for most areas, but overall still good. That darker blue up to Minneapolis west of there, that's because of the snowfall that was actually on the ground melting. But you see some of the pinker colors towards Mason City, giving you an idea that we are going to see some warmer conditions here for Saturday. Overall, right now we're still in the 40s most area-wide. We have some cloud cover coming overhead. Any of that precipitation is going to stay well to the northwest of Minneapolis. We're going to see cloud cover because we have a little bit of a system lifting north into Minnesota right now, providing precipitation out there, but we're not going to see any of that. We're just going to see the cloud cover as that lifts north throughout the night, so that'll be the thing you'll see overnight. But for this evening, really kind of typical November conditions right here. We're getting back down to about 40 degrees with some cloud cover and light winds for La Crosse. Similar story for Eau Claire, more clouds up there with that system being closer to them. Otherwise getting back to the upper 30s by the time we get to 11 p.m. and then fairly steady temperatures overnight. And that's really what's going to happen is the temperatures will drop, but then they're going to be fairly steady once we get later in the night because the wind's going to turn around to the south. So mid 30s to upper 20s, very seasonable conditions as we go into the morning. The good news is your Saturday looks fine, but we do have rain more back on the way. We have periods of it for several days. We'll kind of break that down, but we're also going to warm back up with the rain too. Well, I'll explain that a bit later in the broadcast.
So a little bit of wet, a little bit of warmth to start November.
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Blitzing across the state in a final push toward Election Day. Both presidential frontrunners making stops in Wisconsin today for the second time this week. Trump will be at an event at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, which was, of course, the host site for the Republican National Convention. That event scheduled to start at 7 tonight, but campaign officials have not yet released any additional details. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris plans a concert and rally just 15 minutes away over at the State Fair Park in West Allis. The vice president's event is set for 9 tonight, some musical performances, including Cardi B. Some Republican officials say their party is in a, quote, disgusting place. Trump White House national security official Olivia Troy and former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan remain lifelong Republicans to this day, but they say they cannot support Donald Trump, given how they say he's communicated to women, the military, and foreign leaders. Troy says a second Trump presidency won't have respected officials acting as guardrails. She wants Republicans to shake MAGA extremism.
I think that's also what's the motivation for a lot of these Republicans to actually want to steer the ship into a better direction. My hope is that by defeating Donald Trump, that's step one, but I certainly think that we have a lot of work to do in terms of how we rebuild the party, how we rebuild trust. I would say across the voting base, how we extend like these communities and start to actually work in a bipartisan manner.
Duncan, whose family received death threats during the 2020 presidential election results in Georgia, says it's not surprising more Republicans are not outspoken against Trump, but he believes there are many Republicans like him and Troy who will support Kamala Harris at the ballot box. Senate hopeful Republican Eric Hovde was on the campaign trail today. His Time for Change bus tour made a stop in Sparta. Hovde is hoping to unseat Democrat Tammy Baldwin. He urged folks working at Multistack to get out and vote.
If I get there, I'm going to try to work with the other side to try to move the agenda for America forward, because Washington doesn't get anything done. Let's end this divisive rhetoric. Let's come together. We've got big problems to fix.
The latest Marquette Law poll has Baldwin leading Hovde in that race 51-49. The Wisconsin Elections Commission is trying to ease any election insecurity. On a media call today, Megan Wolf, the elections administrator for the WEC, said plans are in place to ensure a safe and fair election statewide, and as always, your vote will be protected and counted.
That a bad day in elections never happens, but if something should occur, I think our local election officials have truly been preparing for those possibilities for the last 4 years, and they take it very seriously that they want to ensure that their voters can feel safe and secure when they go to vote using whatever method they choose.
Today was also the last day for early voting. The Elections Commission says so far, almost 1 million Wisconsinites voted early. And of course, be sure to tune in to News 8 on Tuesday night for up-to-the-minute election results, some expert analysis, and a breakdown of some of the key issues. We will be having updates throughout the night. We'll have cut-ins on the half hour, basically until midnight, as those results continue to churn in. It'll be a busy day for all involved. At Winona State University, an inauguration ceremony was held for Kenneth Jans. He's the university's new and 6th president. Jans was serving as the interim president at WSU since August of last year, and at one point, Jans was also the dean of the university's library. A local event today took on mental health issues among children. The event is called Rebuilding for the Learning Summit. It was held over at Western Technical College's Lunda Center. Families, mental health professionals, and community leaders on hand to come up with ways to help. The director of community services says everyone has a role in ensuring children build healthy bonds.
A lot of times we think about families as being one of the first people who are supporting healthy youth development, includes mental health, being supportive, making sure that kids are developing in positive and loving relationships at home.
Some of the topics addressed: anxiety, emotional regulation, and creating a supportive environment. Level 2 of the WIAA football playoffs get underway at the top of the hour. More seasons will come to a close as the field shrinks and the dream of making it to Madison becomes all the more real. Our sports director Jacob Lenzendorf is live from one of the games tonight. Hey, Jacob.
Hey Ken, what a night of football we have ahead of us. It's the do or die time of the season, and we've got a classic on tap here in Onalaska. It's Logan against the Hilltoppers tonight. The first matchup in the earlier part of the season was a wild comeback win for Logan, so they'll see if they can repeat it, and Onalaska wants that revenge. We got a lot more stuff coming tonight, but after the break, a couple breaks here in sports, we'll talk to the head coach of the Onalaska Hilltoppers, Tom Yashinsky, about his thoughts on the matchup tonight. But for now, I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Well, given how the MVC looked during the regular season, I think we're in for quite a treat tonight. All right, that's sports director Jacob Lenzendorf. Hurricane relief. How some local law enforcement is helping those impacted by the hurricanes down in Florida.
I'm Tara, a nurse here in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions. He means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And there are forces in Washington who want to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Hovde gets elected, I worry he'll support that ban that could turn nurses like me into criminals. We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Kamala backed Biden on everything. She supported his disastrous economic agenda, higher taxes on the middle class. Kamala backed his open border policies, and their weakness invited wars. President Trump fights for you. His strength kept us safe. Trump cut taxes for families. Prices were lower, and the border secure. But Kamala wants to double down on failure. Kamala broke it. President Trump will fix it.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
I've been with U.S. Cellular for 27 years. They've always taken care of me. But when they asked me to talk to you about their special customer event, Us Days, I said, I gotta get in shape. So they sent me this Hollywood trainer. Oh, this guy's no joke. Us Days means exclusive deals just for us customers.
Now let's try burpees.
Us Days is back at U.S. Cellular. Current customers get $1,200 off any phone, plus $400 off any tablet.
manufacturers selling baby food with high levels of toxic heavy metals.
Foods and cereals marketed to children contain a weed-killing chemical that some health authorities link to cancer.
Exposed to chemicals and additives that have been banned in other countries.
Half the tap water contains forever chemicals.
Enough is enough. President Trump and I are going to stop the mass poisoning of American children. We're going to make America healthy again.
Maha Alliance is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Jody Emerson, and there's a lot at stake in this election. Extreme Republicans are trying to completely ban abortion in Wisconsin, and Michelle Magadan Skinner will help them do it. She wants to join extremist Republicans trying to ban abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. I'm fighting to protect abortion rights, protect IVF treatments, and protect access to birth control, because they're coming for those next. I'm Jody Emerson, and I'll keep fighting, but I need you to vote.
Local law enforcement is helping people still impacted by the recent hurricanes. La Crosse County Sheriff's Office hosted a donation drive today at the Onalaska Omni Center. People donated things like cleaning supplies, water, and non-perishable foods.
This wouldn't happen without everybody in our community. Like, this was a great opportunity for us to say, like, let's work together. A small community comes together and look at what we've been able to accomplish in, what are we, 2 hours, 3 hours of this running actually by now. It was really cool. It's a really rewarding feeling.
If you missed it today, a second event will be hosted tomorrow. That one will start at 10 a.m. We'll have more news ahead, but first.
We had one round of rain, but we got another long period of wet weather becoming later this weekend and going into early next week. We'll time out when the rain starts and how much we're going to get. That all coming up on your First Warn Weather Update after the break.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle.
Oh, please. Don't be fooled by Rebecca Cook. She made her living trying to elect Democrat extremists. Cook proudly supported radicals who want to defund police, end cash bail, and throw open the border. No wonder extremists like AOC are spending big bucks to elect liberals like Cook. Rebecca Cook, just another liberal trying to fool you. Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Politics these days stinks. Too much hot air, and you know what else. But I'm no stranger to putting in a hard day's work and getting the job done. I have a history of bipartisan accomplishments. It's a hard job, but I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I can reach across the aisle and pass good bills just as easily as I can walk across the barnyard with my shovel. So whether it's doing chores on the farm or passing bills in Madison, I'm Steve Doyle, and I'm ready to get back to work for you.
Derek Van Orden's in trouble, and the special interests are bailing him out. Just look at who's paying for all these ads. Big banks, insurance companies, drug companies. Because Washington insiders want to restrict healthcare access and let insurers deny people with pre-existing conditions. Millions would lose coverage. Wisconsin's fed up with Van Orden and Washington insiders. We want leaders who will fight for us.
I'm Rebecca Cook, and I approve this message.
If you want selection, then that's what we've got at King Furniture. More recliners. King Furniture has more Lazy Boy recliners than anywhere else in the Coulee region. Fabric, leather, even lift chairs. Try them all. Sit on this, sit on that. There's plenty here to choose from because it's all about choices, you know. And as always, free delivery. Just try that anywhere else. King Furniture. Nice people, nice furniture.
Well, most of the October was dry and warm, except maybe like the last week is when most of the area got most of the precipitation. Eau Claire ended up still well short. They didn't get as much as some of the areas further south got with this last system. But you notice the last 2 days had rain and just 100th early on. So really it was the last portion of the month. Even more for La Crosse, too. They picked up all the rainfall, which ended up almost being an exceptionally dry month. But then we added to that rainfall the last 2 days, and we ended up near average for almost October. So quite a change, too. As you see, we're only about 1,500 short of average for October. And we're going to start off a wet November, too, but not for Saturday. Quiet and still dry for Saturday. More clouds will be coming in. The rain arrives, the first wave, probably Saturday night. That'll go through Sunday. Sunday's periods of rain. It won't be the entire day. I think maybe the later half and evening may be dry, but definitely the first half looks wet as that's just round one. We have several systems that are going to be approaching from the south. Overall, there's that system that will provide a little bit of cloud cover tonight as it pushes north. That's all we're going to see from that. Otherwise, all the activity out to the west and to the south is where we're going to start seeing that shift eastward as we get towards Saturday evening and Saturday night. And then we're going to have a nice south to north jet right overhead that's going to keep these systems coming through. That's your temperatures for tomorrow. We're looking at upper 50s to low 60s, so they'll be milder, above average with a south wind. So really pleasant, really nice conditions for the second day of November. Sunday, it's going to be wet, at least the first half. Temperatures will hold steady in the 50s, so it'll still be mild. We're not expecting any cold air with this system, so it'll be all rain, upper 50s. That means Sunday night going to Monday will actually warm back up too. So big picture shows all the activity is going to start developing to the south, and then as we get towards Saturday evening, you're going to see the first batch through Omaha come lift northeast up into the area. So some point Saturday night, we're going to see rain spread across the area. That'll be one wave, and then kind of it centers right over us through Sunday morning, and that's why I stated Sunday morning looks actually quite wet, and this will continue through probably sometime later in Sunday. We might see a break going on with it, but it's still going to be locked up there for as we go throughout, and there Sunday night might have a dry period, but then going into Monday, we're going to have another wave come through with more showers and maybe even a thunderstorm Monday too, given that it's going to be quite warm. As you see, the winds are still out of the south, so this is still pumping up more warm air and more moisture. So continued wet, and this will continue even through Tuesday as you see another area beginning to develop to the south of Iowa. That'll spread northeast, and eventually as we get towards Tuesday, we're going to start seeing a front come through. This is precipitation through 9 a.m. Sunday, just through 9 a.m. Sunday. We'll get more after this, but you can already see 1.5 to 2 inches pretty much south of La Crosse. It really drops off pretty quickly if you go further north. So precipitation-wise won't be as much to Eau Claire northward, but to the south, we're definitely going to be picking up a lot of rain going from Saturday night through Sunday 9 a.m. More after this, definitely. Some of these areas in southwest Wisconsin, northeast Iowa could get up to 2 to 3 inches by the time we get done with this by Tuesday. So it's really a wet period. You can see overall through about 7 p.m. Sunday, we still got quite a bit of rainfall. So really wet periods coming. But enjoy Saturday. Saturday should be absolutely fantastic with 60 degrees around there. The showers come at night. Sunday is going to be wet, and that goes all the way through Tuesday, although there will be some dry periods in there. And notice Monday's temperature, upper 60s and 54 at night. So it's going to be a warm and wet Sunday night going into Monday. And then we just kind of dry off finally, but we don't really cool off that much for the second half of next week. Back in the 50s, which is still above average. So no snow or anything with these waves coming through.
Well, happy to hear that. But a wet Packers game, it looks like, on Sunday against
definitely.
The Lions.
I think it will be wet.
All right, it's going to be a big game, too. Thank you, Greg. Coming up next in sports, we're early. Level 2 of playoff football. A handful of area teams fighting to keep their seasons alive. Jacob and Cade are live from one particular matchup featuring some MVC foes. Next.
Is it time for new windows or doors? Contact the company who has done the research for you. The best windows and doors installed by the best people. Clear Choice Window and Home Solutions.
It's Hy-Vee's 3-day weekend sale. Tombstone and select DiGiorno or Jack's Pizza, just $2.99. Hy-Vee diced tomatoes or sauce, 49 cents. Pork shoulder roast, $1.48 a pound. And more, in-store and online. Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
When did you know Eric Hovde was wrong for Wisconsin?
Well, that's easy. When he said that people like me were going to die soon, so we shouldn't be able to vote.
Almost nobody in a nursing home is in a point to vote.
When Hovde said overweight people should pay more for health care.
When I heard he wants to raise the retirement age.
When I heard he's completely against abortion.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. He's not for us.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Think you know Steve Doyle? Think again. Doyle refused to protect our daughters, forcing them to share bathrooms and locker rooms with biological boys, and voted to force girls to compete against boys in sports. Doyle believes dangerous puberty-blocking drugs should be given to minors, and gender reassignment surgeries performed on children. Keep kids safe? Steve Doyle says no. Ryan Hipsch, focused on what matters, helping families with rising costs and protecting our children. It's just common sense. Ryan Hipsch for Assembly.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I was 27 years old, and the doctor told me I have MS. You quickly realize what's the most important things in life: family, friendships, love, helping other people. It makes you much more empathetic and compassionate to those that are struggling and suffering. I wanted to achieve my goals and dreams, but I wanted to take my resources and save as many children as I possibly could.
Jody Emerson, what would you say you do here? We know you've collected over $250,000 from taxpayers while taking it easy. But where were you, Jody, when we needed help with rising costs? Where were you when our community needed funding to keep Lake Altoona clean? Where were you when radicals were trying to force our daughters to compete against boys in sports? You weren't there for us. So Jody, what would you say you do here?
It's Hy-Vee's 3-day weekend sale. Tombstone and select DiGiorno or Jack's Pizza, just $2.99. Hy-Vee diced tomatoes or sauce, 49 cents. Pork shoulder roast, $1.48 a pound. And more, in-store and online. Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community, here's News 8 Now Sports.
Welcome to the Friday Night Frenzy.
Oh man, this is a fun night of action. It's level 2 of the playoffs, and we've got Onalaska and Logan facing off in a rematch from earlier. We welcome in now head coach of Onalaska, Tom Yashinsky. Coach, thanks for taking some time to join us here. Question for you about, you guys have been in some close games this year. A lot of close games, but on both sides of them. How do you think that is going to help you when it comes to the postseason here?
It's been a two-year adventure with the close games that we've played, and it's been almost every week. And I think when it gets to the playoffs, then your kids are never in a situation that they haven't been in before, and that's an important thing. So the kids are battle tested, they're ready, so we're excited about it.
They're battle tested and they're playing really good football right now. Started the year 2-3, but you're on a 5-game win streak since then. What have you learned about this team over these 5 weeks, and how's it going to help you guys tonight?
They're resilient. They don't flinch. When things don't go well, they don't panic. They're good at keeping their calm and composure, and that's something that's going to help them in the long run, so hopefully it pays off tonight as well.
Coach, that's all we've got. Thanks so much, and best of luck tonight. All right, Cade, looking forward to a lot of stuff tonight. What catches your eye here on this Friday?
I'm going to kind of twist a little bit. We've got one game in Minnesota tonight, a state qualifying game between Caledonia and Chatfield. Chatfield got the best of the Warriors earlier this year, but it was a close game, and we'll see if the Warriors can come out on top tonight.
Man, there's tons of great games all over. It was 80 a couple of days ago. We got 40s tonight. I'm looking forward to some fun matchups. Let's now check in on our Play of the Week winner. Let's roll it, and it is Landon Blaha of North Crawford. North Crawford community showing out against some bigger schools this week. He had 4 touchdowns in that contest, and man, he had a great night.
He's got the Trojans playing some really good ball. We'll see if they can keep it going. We've got a lot of other teams playing really good ball. Mentioning that Division III teams, we've got Aquinas and West Salem still battling out. Both those guys in some tough games tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, Jacob.
I cannot wait to see what happens, and make sure you join us tonight for the 10 p.m. show. It's the Friday Night Frenzy, highlights, scores, all you can want, right, kid?
I love it. Can't wait.
We'll see you at 10.
Are record high energy costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? While you haven't asked for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to face the challenge of living without heat or power or face homelessness. For a hand up, apply today.
I'm Jody Emerson, and there's a lot at stake in this election. Extreme Republicans are trying to completely ban abortion in Wisconsin, and Michelle Magadan Skinner will help them do it. She wants to join extremist Republicans trying to ban abortion with no exceptions for rape or incest. I'm fighting to protect abortion rights, protect IVF treatments, and protect access to birth control, because they're coming for those next. I'm Jody Emerson, and I'll keep fighting, but I need you to vote.
Let's talk about Rebecca Cook. She's a political operative. She's worked for defund the police radicals across this country.
Cook spent millions getting Mandela Barnes elected, the most anti-law enforcement candidate in Wisconsin's history.
You remember Barnes, the guy who said reducing prison populations was sexy?
Defund the police radicals, make it harder for us to keep you safe.
That's why we can't support Rebecca Cook, because she'll never support us.
Derek Van Orden, and I approve this message.
I, Kamala J.D. Harris, do solemnly swear.
Kamala swore an oath, but Kamala created crisis after crisis. Our troops murdered, an open border, crime in our streets, skyrocketing costs, assassination attempts, Americans abandoned during disasters, and we're on the brink of World War III. A broken oath and a broken America. Kamala can't be trusted in the Oval Office. Vote for President Trump and save America. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
All right, tonight we'll have more clouds overnight. The temperatures should get back down to the upper 30s. Both locations, pretty typical for this time of year. Winds will turn around to the south, so they'll kind of hold steady those temperatures overnight as you wake up. Saturday looks fantastic, really upper 50s and near 60 for all areas. The rain starts moving in Saturday, probably after midnight. Sunday looks wet, especially the first half, and then it's periods of rain pretty much through Tuesday with some significant amounts. Some areas could pick up maybe 2 to 3 inches, and quite warm Monday, 68, and then we do dry out for the second half of the week, but we don't really cool off that much. We're still in the mid-50s, which is above average for that time of year.
Yeah, for here, I think mid-50s
for early
is
November.
Downright pleasant almost.
Exactly.
And again, we had a very dry October.
Yes,
so brace yourselves for the rain, everybody. Enjoy your weekend, but before that, we'll see you for the Friday Night Frenzy at 10.